Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. The purpose of the show is to help you realize that you are not alone and that you are in control of your life. It doesn't matter where you came from or what your circumstances are. We have all felt pain, suffering, hurt, abandonment, loneliness, and hopelessness. The show is here to help you take those dark moments and turn them around to create a whole new you. Despite your success, have you felt lonely, angry, frustrated, or even suicidal? Do you long to be supported, recognized, and respected for who you are and not just the accolades on your walls? Do you want to be known? You don't want to be known, identified, or remembered in a way that feels fraudulent because you achieved things out of obligation and not passion. Do you find yourself sitting quietly at lunch, listening to what lights you up, only to feel shame, fear, frustration, and resentment? Your inner turmoil and limiting beliefs surface, making you feel not good enough and afraid of doing something different. You've read the books, attended the seminars, and practiced new concepts and principles, yet you still find yourself in the same rut. The lies you tell yourself perpetuate a cycle of disappointment. You say you change, but your self-limiting beliefs keep you running the show, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. As a certified coach, I empower you to become your authentic self. My Soul Journey program aligns you with your true self and guides you to find your soul vision, helping you discover your purpose in life. I provide tools to step you into your true magnificence and remember who you are. If you're interested in learning more, contact me at bravetv@kathleenmflanagan.com. Each week, I start the show with sound of the tuning forks, bringing in love, happiness, and balance to set the tone for the show, myself, and the guests, and for you. Let's begin. Today, I wanted to talk about navigating 2025. And if you're like me and probably most people, January has been a very challenging month, so to speak. And it started out with a bang. So it's welcome 2025. I believe that 2025 is still a year of change. And I believe that all your hopes and dreams can come to fruition in this year. I truly believe that. And excuse me, I seem to have something in my throat. Um, but the one thing that I did notice in 2025, starting out on January 2nd, Sal comes home and his sciatica goes out from whatever it was he was doing at work. And he has been pretty much bedridden most of the time since he's been home. And I realized how disruptive that was and how challenging it was for me to be a caregiver because, I'm an Irish woman and my attitude is get over it. It's what I tell myself. It's what I expect of people. And I knew I couldn't do that because I know what sciatic going out is. I've been that. I actually was on horse pills, as I call them, in during 2000 when the Y2K happened. I was in bed the whole time. I was up maybe 1 hour a day to eat, go to the bathroom, and I took a pill and went back to bed. I mean, my sciatic was so bad. It was unbelievable how bad it was, and not being able to move. And so they put me on these intense horse pills so I could relax the muscle to get the sciatic to move. So, and that was because I was in the middle of a divorce, and my thinking at that moment in time was that I was terrified of moving forward. I never expected to get divorced. It wasn't a plan that I had, and yet here I was. So that is the backstory of the sciatic. And so when Sal comes home with his sciatic the way it is, I knew exactly what needed to be done. So he calls his boss, tells his boss he's injured at work. His boss denies that he's been injured, even though he's on the clock. And he tells him that Monday he's supposed to go to this pain center. So we go. Sal doesn't get on any meds, nothing. It's just chiropractic. And after 2 weeks of this, and he's still in tremendous pain, I said, we're going to UC Health. We're going to urgent care to get this dealt with. And at that moment, we discovered that his boss didn't have workman's comp. We discovered today he actually does. He's just been refusing to give him what he needs to file a workman's comp case. But as we went through urgent care, I had a breakdown at that moment also because I was on the edge of everything that was going on, because that was just so traumatic. And then, financial ruin. I went in and I played this, guys. I played this good because, I need his income, because my income is, being self-employed, you have your moments of good months and bad months. And this is the slowest month of the year. January, February, March are usually the slowest months for me in the environmental business. So I'm having to hold on, and, I have savings, thank God, but I got very scared and insecure about it. And I just had a meltdown of, when does it change for me? The whole thing that we all do. And I'm no different. I don't last in it very long. But it was a good thing, because what came out of that was Sal understood how much I was holding and carrying. And I said, I did this for you, so that, because you think I'm infallible, and I'm not. But it helped our relationship. It helped me to just calm down and realize. And then, of course, he wants to get better. He got a new job. We don't know if we're just waiting to find out on whatever's going on, paperwork and that kind of thing. And then he went into the doctor's office today for workman's comp and discovered that his boss does have insurance. And so who knows what that's going to be. The other thing that happened is, in this process, in January, is having issues, just communication issue, growing pain with my VA. And it was nothing major, but it was it was just compounding. And again, more questioning, because I'm evolving into somebody bigger, somebody different than who I want to be. So I questioned, my leadership skills, knowing talked to my coach about it, cried to my coach about it, saying, I'm not sure what's going on. And I was on a coaching call again with David Bear today, and he talked about that a lot of times when things are given to us this way, it's not that is people see us for who we are, but we don't see ourselves for who we are. And we're learning to become that person more, because what the world sees and what we do up here are two different things. And so it was a good reminder to realize that we're not failures ever. We think we might be failures, but we're not. And the other thing that David talked about today, which is something that I've been observing and trying not to be, persistence. If you want to be something, you want something different, you have to be persistent in what you're doing. And I know that this year I have done massive amounts of growth, massive changes in myself, in my life, in my thinking, in my dreams. And it's I feel like I'm constantly doing the drudgery work, but that's what persistence is. It's doing the drudgery work. It's staying focused, knowing that what you're doing is going to get you where you want to go, and taking that kind of responsibility. So as I'm working through all of this, then I get a text message, because I was supposed to have somebody on the show, and I'm worried after 2 days of oh my God, she hasn't reached out to me. What's going on? I'm freaking out that something happened to her, something happened to her mom, whatever it was. And then I get a text message from her, and and it was I felt like I just got punched again. And I was in where I was in with it for a few minutes, and then decided, what, this is a her problem, not a me problem. There's a misunderstanding. I understand it's a misunderstanding. I'm not there. I wasn't there. And if we're as good of friends as she claims we are, we'll eventually talk it out. But for now, this is what it's going to be. And I had to come to terms with that, because the other thing that came up for me during that period of time was I hardly have that many friends to begin with. And when you do start going down this road of growth and evolution, a lot of times you are doing this solo, because it's about you and standing up for you and trusting in your abilities, trusting in all of that, which I'm doing. But I'm also meeting new people at the same time that I'm becoming more and more aligned with. So it's a good thing. It's just that we create stories, because that's what our brain is designed to do, is create stories around things. And so I realized that this was something else for me to look at, was okay, and David talked about this as well, is it's just an event, and don't put anything around it. Just sit back and observe it, because there's a reason this is happening. There's a reason Sal's out on workman's comp. There's a reason that money's where it is for me right now, and I don't feel scared. I don't feel any of that anymore. I feel very confident. Believe it or not, I feel really confident. And even though I launched like my program the beginning of January, and it wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be, but it's okay. Because the other thing that came out of this right now is that I have like over 5,000 downloads on my show this month. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. And I'm confused about it. I don't know what to do about it, but I'm like, this is so awesome, because after a year and a half of doing the show, all of a sudden I'm getting out there, even though the numbers on Facebook or YouTube or whatever are, the downloads are coming up on, Spotify, Apple, Spreaker, whatever it is, the other platforms. So that was really exciting. And I could take this either way. It's like, oh, I'm like, my life isn't going so well. And then here's this other side saying, but your life is. You're crossing the bridge. Okay. And that's how I look at it. So what I came to realize during all of this is just sit back and observe, Kath. That's all you can do. I mean, you know where you're going. I'm dialed in. I'm focused. I know, and I've got things that have taken me years to try to understand and figure out how to do, to automate part of my business and how to get things. And I'm like, well, I did this years ago. I can just go, and I'm finding all these documents I've been putting together that I didn't know what to do with, but now I know what to do with. And so now I'm starting to put all this stuff together. Like, all the pieces are starting to finally fall in place of, I've been doing this and I've been doing this and I've been doing this. But it felt like I was just wandering in the desert, so to speak. And now all of that stuff is done. And now I know how to put it together. And I've been putting things together, and, because I got Awakening Spirit is now back off of Shopify. I'm so happy about that. And I've got more control over what I want to do with Awakening Spirit. Plus the KMF site is doing its thing. And I just feel there's a lot of things coming in, but a lot of it has to do with just sitting back and trusting a process. I know that I'm going because it's already happened. I work through quantum physics every now and then. And I know that when events are happening, they're happening for you. They're not against you. It's not, the universe is conspiring in your favor. And I realized that when I was having my stuff with the VA, and it wasn't anything major, I was being tested in my mind about how committed are you? How good of a leader are you? How do you want to be a better leader? How do you, taking the skills and not pushing somebody to some place that they're not capable of being, or they don't want to, or they're not ready. It doesn't matter what the reason is allowing the other people in my life to be where they are too. So if I need more help, then I'll hire more help, but don't dump everything on one person. And that was something that I came to realize, and it got worked out. So it's not like a big deal. And then with Sal, is just trusting this process of, okay, here we go down workman's comp again, and the fact that his boss has it. And if he chooses whatever, he can't refuse to not pay the claim. He can sit and do whatever he wants, but he can't not do it. And, so Sal's going to be getting his money coming in also from that. So it's not like I have to worry about it. And, at least he's not suffering and, having to borrow money from his parents every month to survive because of what's going on. So that's a good thing. And just when I really got out of putting meaning, it seemed like everything went out because I got so far into my head. And everybody I talked to this month is like, January's not here. We're just going to start. The new year starts in February, because it's like everybody I talked to was in the same place. Like they're jumping out of their skin. It's like, I got to get out of my life. I got to get out of my skin. Everything's falling apart. And they were very, very emotional. Well, we know that the emotions is because of the 6 planets in alignment, that the moon is in everything, which is our emotions. And I know that I can handle almost anything until it gets to my emotions, and then I can, turn into my own little personal drama queen. Nobody else may know it, but I certainly know when I'm becoming a drama queen. And once I settled back into that and got out of my head and back into my heart, things started to smooth out. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Ready to discover the deeper purpose of your life? Kathleen Flanagan's Soul Journey course guides you through profound spiritual awakening, helping you connect with your higher self and unlock the wisdom within. Embark on a journey of transformation and self-discovery. Visit KathleenMFlanagan.com and start your soul journey today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. The other thing that I think to help navigate through 2025, besides not taking everything personally, is just staying focused on what is it that you want to accomplish? What do you see you want for changes in your life? I know that I'm really close to probably manifesting a lot of the things that I've been working on for the last several years, because a lot of it's making sense. A lot of things, all the pieces are starting to fall into place. And I think the biggest thing is how would my future self act? And I know I've talked about this in the past, but it's like there's a whole new level that's coming up as far as how am I showing up in the world? How do I want to show up in the world? What is it that I want to do? And the one thing that I'm learning is I have learned so many things in the last probably 2 months as far as with digital marketing to get myself out there, how to help people, how to grow the channel, that things are making sense. Like I've had questions for marketing, because I always said I really suck as a marketer and I hate marketing more than anything else in the world. I'd rather sit there and fill bottles all day long than market. I've actually said that. And filling bottles, if anybody knows what it's like to be on a production line, when you're filling thousands and thousands of bottles, you can actually literally fall asleep with your eyes open. That's how boring it is. Yeah, I did that. Oh, that was intense, but it was good. But the whole point is starting to understand it. And I really had to change my mindset around marketing. I had to say, this is fun. I'm going to learn a lot, that kind of thing, where I'm trying to make it fun and enjoyable. And when people ask me things and I just say, I don't think like a marketer yet. And I think part of everything that I've been doing is learning how to think like a marketer. And I ask Spirit every night. If I'm having a problem with something, I ask, how do I do this? What do I need to do? Where am I? I'm not sure what the next step is. And I'll always wake up in the morning with an answer. You want to look at this, you want to do this. And it seems like it's working. Because, Spirit is out there to help us. Your guides are out there to help you. And if your guides don't know it, you know what? You've got access to like all these entities out there that were successful marketers. So, ask yourself, is like, who's the best marketer out there on the other side who can help me with X, Y, Z, and let them come forward and tell you. And I've done that off and on over the years, but I'm doing it more regularly now, because I know that when I had to like I have Kit. And I couldn't create a funnel. I could do everything. I just couldn't get these funnels to talk to each other from the website to whatever. And I'm learning how to do that now. I don't know if they made it simpler or if I just told my brain that we're going to figure this out and you're just going to breathe through it and take your time. And I've been doing it. And then I reach out to them and says, okay, this is where I'm at. Okay, how do I do this? So now I'm in the testing phase to see certain things. I mean, there might be weird things that are still happening. I don't know if they are or not. I just have to test it. but trusting in the process, trusting that it's there and people are helping me so I can be successful. Communicating with my people more and more, because I have people that they want to hear from me. They're not unsubscribing or telling me to go take a hike or whatever. I'm the people that I've been reaching out to when I do book signings. People are watching the podcasts. That's the thing that I started realizing, because I'm thinking, well, they don't care about me and they don't like me. And that's not the case at all, because it's another mind shift. And I'm thinking, well, how can I increase that connection? How do I create the community? So that's where I'm at, is I'm learning now more about how to create a community. How can I touch somebody, even if it's on the other side of a monitor, if it's on another side of an email, reaching those people, getting them to know that I have answers. I can help them with certain things, not everything, but I can help with some things of what I've been through and how to move to that next direction. And I think as long as we stay outward focused of how can I serve versus what's in it for me, I think that's going to help make getting through 2025, navigating, because there is so much change going on. Even within us, there's so much change, because Spirit told me, it said, I have to just chill out for the next 6 weeks. And so we're talking the end of February, basically, is when the message came in, is I have to chill out for 6 weeks. Don't worry about it. Just put your nose to the grindstone, do the things you need to do, get those emails, get those funnels, get the sequences, whatever it is I have to do, get it done. Get on there and start doing more videos, that type of thing. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And so that's what I've been doing, is putting my nose to the grindstone and just breathing through it, being patient with myself, not telling myself I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm doing, because that's not true. I'm capable of doing it, and I know people who can help me if I can't, or I can reach out for support on these platforms to get the help that I need as well. And that's another thing too, is just really learning how to ask for support. You're not weak, you're not shallow, you're not stupid if you're asking for support, because how are we supposed to know everything? Because we don't know everything. And and it's a deeper level. And that's what I discovered so far this year, is I'm going at a deeper level, almost like I'm beyond the core of the onion, that I'm going even further into where these thoughts originated from, and realizing that they're not true. Because if I'm wanting to stand between two worlds and be in two worlds at the same time, that means whatever's going on up in my brain needs to stop. And in order to be able to connect to that other side of the world, to where I can feel at peace and trust the process, like be like Buddha and Jesus and Krishna, and just be in those two worlds and just know the truth. Now, there's still the human side. We're always going to have the human side, but not judging myself, my thoughts, my actions, and just breathing through it. Because the only one who ever thinks I'm a failure is me, because that's what I did 2 weeks ago, is I thought I was a failure. And I'm thinking, Kat, there is so much evidence to prove you are not a failure. Why are you saying this? Because it's a habit. It's a habit. And when we get into our habitual nature, we're not thinking clearly. We're not responding clearly. We're not doing a lot of things clearly. And when people say, give yourself grace, seriously, give yourself grace. You're perfect where you are right here, right now. You are exactly where you're supposed to be right here, right now. And if not, you would be someplace else. If you want the things that you want, you move into your dream. It doesn't come to you, you move into it. It's about becoming. And every guru out there, everybody out there, they all say the same thing. It's your becoming. It's the journey of your becoming. And that was a big one for me to learn, because I always wanted the destination. I didn't want the journey. I wanted the destination, but the destination is through the journey. Because we don't go straight up a hill on a dream. We're all over the place, zigzagging back and forth, up and down. Everything happens because it's about learning. And the faster you can gain your mindset control, the faster you can get to where you're going. And depending on how big your dream is, means a big difference and a big leap in changing who you are and how you think and how you perceive the world. And I've been doing a lot of that thinking this month as well, of where am I going? And I created a strategic plan and said, these are the things, this is my goal, this is what I want, and these are the methods that I'm going to get there. And then underneath that, I'm putting how I'm going to do it. And do you know, everything I'm doing, because goal setting is one thing, and I suck at goal setting. I just, it doesn't work for me the way it might work for a lot of other people, but it doesn't work for me that way. But having this strategic map of, these are the avenues I'm going to get to where I want to go, and put dates of when I want to have certain things done. And I'm on track for things like that right now. Believe it or not, I'm on track, because it's something that I look at, it's something that I see, and I see that I need to do certain things to get there, and I'm doing that. So this strategic plan that I created is a form of goal setting. It's just different. It's something that works for me, and we all have to find what works for us. I mean, some people can be very stringent on the goals and they can achieve them and all of that. But that doesn't always work for me. I do things my own way, as you do your own thing, your own way. And that's the beauty of us as individuals, is we're going to do things our way. That's just who we are. That's how we think. It's how we operate. It's through us, because we're all individuals. We have a common ground on the inside of us, but as far as how we see the world, how we experience the world, how the world perceives us, is a totally different thing. And we have to be okay with that. And that's where that power comes in. That's where, we find our inner joy and our peace and our love. And when we bring the true essence of who we are, everything starts to change when we do that. And I see this more and more every day. And it hasn't been a comfortable journey, because I've walked around my whole life. Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. And nobody cares if I would be dead. And I've walked around my whole life like that. And I'm finding that is not true. And that's an uncomfortable. It's like, what do you mean you like me? Why do you like me? What's wrong with you? And I used to think like that. And I don't think like that anymore, because you know what? I think I'm a pretty cool person. I really do. I may be a redheaded Irish witch some days, and I don't care about that either, because I'm allowed to be that way. And if you want to know how it's okay and understand conditional love, look at your animals. They could be quirky, wacky, weird. I've had weird animals in my life that, you thought a screw was loose, but they were okay with themselves. And I still loved them regardless of the quirkiness. It's almost the quirkiness is what made you love them. And if you can take how you perceive an animal and how animals can be, and you take it to yourself, why can't we do that to other humans? Why don't we give other humans that kind of grace? I'm the kind of person that, and I've done this in the past, where I had a friend, and I love her dearly, and we're still amazing friends to this day. And there was a point that she went off the deep end, in my opinion. It wasn't for her, but it was mine. It was my opinion. And I told her that. And I said, I love you to death. And I know that I don't know what you need to do. And you have to do this for yourself. I understand that. But I can't be around it, because I don't know how to deal with it. I don't understand any of this. But I love you, and I'm here for you when you're done with your craziness. And you know what? When she was done with her craziness, she called and said, hey, thank you so much for allowing me to do that. And we continued on where we left off, because whatever it is, we all are on our own journey. And we have to give other people that opportunity, even if they don't fit into the mold that we think they should be in. It's not for us to make that judgment. It's us to hold the space and to love them and let them do that, and trust that they will come back and be who you think they should be, or that they are a better version of themselves. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick. Are you ready to step into your true potential? Kathleen Flanagan's Get Into Alignment session helps you break through blocks, balance your energy, and align with your highest self. Experience clarity, purpose, and flow like never before. Visit KathleenMFlanagan.com and unlock the power of living in alignment today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. The other thing on helping to navigate. And I have no idea what to expect this year. It started out with a bang. He's probably going to continue being that off and on. Is just keep a positive mental attitude. That's another thing that I think would really help you as well, is not putting any judgment on it, trusting a process. People may fall away because, as you grow and change, people can fall away. They could change and decide that you're not in alignment with each other anymore. I mean, we don't know what's going on with other people. I think if you're a good friend, it's worth talking and working through whatever the differences are or whatever happened. I don't know. But it takes two people to do that. And if somebody's not willing to do it, then you just have to let it go and move on. And what was interesting is when this was coming on, I got a post or something, and they said, you got to check this out. And it was a Mel Robbins, because she's promoting her new book, Let Them. And it was such a cool little message to get, of just let them. If they're not happy with you, then let them not be happy with you. That's not a you problem, that's a them problem. Let them, if they're upset or they're angry or they're whatever, just let them. Because whatever's going on with them is not you. And again, it was just such a different way of receiving the message that is that, whatever's going on with this friend of mine, it's what it is. And I had to surrender that way. But when I heard this little message about just let them, I was like, wow, that's so simple. I do that all the time. But what two powerful words is let them. I can hold the space. I'm still there. I still love them. I'm not going to do anything. If it works out that we reconnect, we do. If we don't, then okay, Sarah, there's nothing I can do about it. But it was just let them. And then let me be okay with it too, because I have to be okay with it too. And that was the one thing I came to be okay with. And what I discovered when I felt like I got punched that Friday morning, I have so many things I have to get done. And normally I would want to sit and stew and just, feel sorry for myself, or why is this happening? And, looking back at what I did wrong or whatever, where I'm taking all the blame, which that is BS too. And looking at that, and it was like, no, Kath, you want to go someplace different. You want to be in a different place and a different frame of mind. That means you do not get to sit here all day and feel sorry for yourself. You're not going to do that. You've got things you need to do, and you're going to get your head wrapped around what you got to do. And I did. And I did that immediately. And it was the best thing I could have done. I felt like I was moving in slow motion as I was making that transition from this punch that I felt like I got to, I'm doing something productive. I'm doing something that's helping me and moving forward to where, because, it was an opportunity to make money. So what was I going to do? Sit at home and feel sorry for myself or make money? No brainer. And I think that was another thing that really helped me to understand that just let them, and let me be okay with it, and let me just keep moving forward, because my eye is on my dream. Whatever that dream of yours is, keep your eye on the dream. Because if you can do that, all the stuff that's going on around you in this crazy world right now, that will make a change. I know I've been dealing with people with the presidential election stuff, and I'm just like, let them say what they have to say. I'm not going to participate in politics. I'm not going to. I'm not going back to what we had 4 years ago. And we're back in that place again. And I'm not going to participate in it. I refuse. Because I think we're bigger than who our government leaders are. And how much are they going to affect us? I don't know yet. We don't know. All I know is I went to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago. Eggs are like non-existent. And now we're paying like $9 for a dozen eggs. Are you freaking kidding me? So you know how I'm going to handle that one? I'm going to get a chicken coop. We've been talking about getting chickens, and guess what? I'm getting chickens. I even went to one of the stores here in Johnstown and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll get chickens. I'll sell them to you for you. If you want to keep making $10 in eggs, I'll sell them to you for 5 and you can sell them for 10, kind of thing. And so that's what I figured. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. We've talked about getting chickens. We're allowed to get chickens. Our HOA is going to let us do chickens. So why not do chickens? And then sell the eggs or something to my neighbors if they want, or give them away. I don't know, whatever I decide I'm going to do. But what the hell? That's how I look at it. I don't like the rising food costs. I got 3 grow tents in my basement right now, okay? 3 grow tents. That's a lot. But that's what we're doing, is we're growing our own food in our house, and I can take care of the chickens. I can do bees, so that way we got the bees out there pollinating all the foods that we need to get done. I mean, this is all I know to do. And I'm taking my power back to the best of my ability. I'm not going to let the government control me. I'm not going to let other people control me. I'm going to do what I can do. If I can do chickens, then what the hell? Let's just do chickens. I know people say, well, it's a lot of work. It's this, it's this, it's this. But I also know people that have done chickens and they love their chickens. The personalities, having the eggs, all of it. So I understand. I know both sides because I know people who raise chickens. So why not? It's a learning experience. That's kind of how I look at it. What the hell? A farm girl. I'm living in a farm community anyways. We have cattle, we have dairy, we have farms. So why not? What the hell? Farm girls, rural girl. I'm a rural girl now. So, but it still have fun. Just have fun. And I think when we get inundated, like the beginning of January was just so much. And I feel like I'm smoothing out because I'm breathing through it. And just breathe. Just always breathe through it, because you know what? It's going to change. Nothing stays the same ever. Some things we would like to stay longer being good, but it's not always going to be good that way. We are here to start releasing a lot of stuff. And the way we heal, the way we evolve is through our emotions. Always. You can change anything up here, but if you don't move through your emotions, you haven't changed it. That's why when you look at your self-limiting beliefs, it's not what's in your brain, it's what you think and how you feel about it. And changing the self-limiting beliefs is fine, but if there's no emotional tie to it, it's not going to change. And that's the one thing, is we need to start moving through our anger and rage and jealousies and all of the things that you classify as negative. They're not negative emotions. They're just an emotion. You're the one who put the attachment on it. And it's time to move through it. It's time to find the truth of you. And right now, most of us are so buried deep inside of this emotion of anger, of rage, of bitterness, of fear. I mean, fear is probably the biggest one out there. And you want to get through fear, then be of service to somebody else. Because the minute you start becoming of service for someone else and really coming from your heart, everything starts moving towards you. And I know that to be true because I remember whenever I was really deep in my stuff years ago, and I would go out and just help somebody, and everything seemed to shift. Like my brain shifted, my money shifted, my problems shifted, everything shifted. That's why when I was an esthetician, and actually being an esthetician and working in my spa, I loved it because I took everything that may have been going on up in my head, and I was about my client. How can I best serve her? How can I give her the best facial, give her the most relaxation, make her feel really good about herself? And part of what I did was I didn't talk unless she wanted to talk. Because how many of us don't have that quiet time? How many of us, even when we're in the middle of something, we're always talking or chattering, and we don't know how to relax? And I know that I've had facials in the past where the esthetician just talked and talked and talked, and I left that room as upset and freaked out and agitated as I was when I came in. And that was the last thing I wanted my clients to do. I wanted them to be so relaxed that they could go on with their day, go on with their life. Their problems took a different shift, whatever it was. That's what I wanted for them. And I received so many positive 5-star reviews because I allowed them to do that. And if they wanted to know what I was putting on their face, I told them. Otherwise, I just cut my mouth shut. And that's what my instructor told me when I was in school is, when they come in for a facial, you keep your mouth shut. It's not about you, it's about them. If they wanted to talk, they would go to a hairstylist or a nail tech. But when they come to you, keep your mouth shut. And that's what I loved about aesthetics, because I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to entertain anybody. I could just be with them. I could touch them and feel connected to another human being. And I remember I had an employee, and she came out and she said, I want to look like them. Because every time they came out, she saw when they went in and when they came out, she says, I want to look like them. Because they were so relaxed. That's how much you could see the difference in what I was doing. And when I was doing aesthetics, it was amazing how I didn't have so many problems in my life because I was being of service to somebody else, and it made me feel so good. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm working on getting back into the world for people and working with people and coaching people, because of the things that I've learned along the way. And my coach that I still have right now is so amazing that, he's helping me on the business side of things I don't know about business. And he's been so good. And we've had this mutual relationship where as I'm growing, he's growing. And it's like we're both helping each other escalate. And I just think that is such a cool symbiotic relationship. And that's how we're supposed to be with people. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Feeling overwhelmed? Take a moment to reconnect with your inner peace. Join Kathleen Flanagan's powerful de-stress meditation designed to help you release tension, calm your mind, and restore balance. Just a few minutes can transform your day. Visit KathleenMFlanagan.com and start your journey to tranquility today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Journey of an Awakening Spirit. This is Kathleen Flanagan, your host, and we're streaming on the Bold Brave TV network. Yeah, so 2025, breathe. That's all I have to say. And I guarantee you're probably going to be feeling a lot of emotional stuff. Things are going to trigger you. We're all triggered because we're human. And that's just a natural way of being, is how are you going to respond to the triggers? I would say one of the biggest suggestions I would recommend for you, that when you're being triggered, be with it. Be with that emotion, feel it, go into it, and then look at where this original thought came from, because more than likely it came from something in your past. And that would be what I would recommend, is really be with the emotion. And I know it sucks to be with emotions when you're tied into it and they're not painful and they're not fun. And I'm with you, truly. I am with you. And I have 7 planets in water, so I really know what you're talking about. And you may have 1 or 2. I have 7. So I feel everything on this planet. I feel everything in my environment. And people think I'm a little crazy, but it's true. I feel everything. Everyone says, you're like a cat. The cat walks in, it's like you changed something. And I do the same thing because I can feel the energy has shifted. You move something. One of my business partner, we used to be a couple years and years ago, and he would change something on the mantle, and I'd walk in and he'd be like, what'd you do? And he'd be like, how do you know that? And I would go in and fix it. And he would do that because he was testing me, because he's like, how do you do that? He said, I just can feel it. It really is. It's like cats. Cats know the minute something's different in their environment, they know. They're already like, I know it's here. I'm going to find it. And they do find it every time. And that's the kind of person that I am. And I've learned, when you're really in a deep, intense emotion, just be with it, because in 90 seconds it will be gone. That intensity will be gone. It will feel like an eternity, but it's not. It will be gone in 90 seconds. When that feeling is gone, then be with, where did it come from? Why would I think like this? What happened in my past? Ask those questions. What happened in my past that is bringing this up to the future, to right now? Because all that trigger is doing is helping you to release something that went into your unconscious part of your mind when you were a child because you didn't have reasoning capacities at that time. So it put itself in a little file cabinet. And when something in life triggers it, it brings it back to the forefront for you to look at it and see if it's worth keeping, bring clarity, understanding, and then let it go. Sometimes I've also discovered sometimes weird things are coming up and you're kind of like seeing all these weird things like that are thought forms and they're just releasing. It's not about putting an attachment on. I mean, you're going to know if you feel it deep inside your body, if you need to sit with it, or stuff is coming up and you're feeling like, and then you're kind of seeing these things floating around you like Ghostbusters with the ghosts. That's how I felt with a lot of things this month. Like I'm always seeing all these little ghosts around me, little black things. And I realized they were just nothing more than thought forms. There was no energy to them. They were just like in front of me going like, wow, where'd you come from? How long have you been here? And thank God you're leaving. And I felt lighter because of it. So those are some simple steps to just really work through the emotional side of your being, because we're going to be triggered pretty much this year in our emotions with the moon where it is, because of 2025 being what it is. We have this 6 planets in alignment that, Mercury comes in February. And I think this alignment is going to last at least a good 6 months. Maybe not as tight as it is now, but it's still going to be here. We're still going to feel it because a lot of those planets are very slow moving planets on the outer side, but we're still going to be in alignment with those planets. And the other thing too is since Pluto is in Aquarius, there's a whole new dynamic. So I mean, we're not in Capricorn anymore with Pluto, and Pluto is a game changer. Pluto will, it tears your house down and then you get to rebuild it. Well, as Michael was saying, that Pluto in Capricorn was to break down the institutions, and Aquarius is to rebuild them. And that's where we're at. We're in a rebuilding. We're 1 degree in it, but that's where it is. And that's happening with each and every single one of us too. And it all depends on where that is in your chart. Well, I really appreciate your time today. And if you found any value, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel and send the link to those who might get some benefit out of it. If you're struggling with anything, or if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at bravetv@KathleenMFlanagan.com. And we can go through whatever the struggle is to give you some guidance. My books, Dancing Souls, The Call, The Awakened, and The Dark Night of the Soul are on Amazon.com and Kathleen M. Flanagan. And then also be sure to visit the KathleenMFlanagan.com site for a list of the services. And I do have some training materials there on help you, depending on where you want to be in your mindset. But I do have some training there. And that concludes our show for today. And I will see you all next week at Tuesday at 4 p.m. And from my heart to yours, I hope you have a fabulous week.